I grew up reading the Encyclopedia, National Geographic, and always knew that there was a big world out there.
Little Nancy Aossey didn't know what she wanted to be, just where she wanted to be.
I dreamt of seeing the world.
She did see the world, the worst of it, and Nancy Aossey took it on. Today in Santa Monica, California, at the International Medical Corps, CEO Nancy Aossey runs a global relief operation of 3,500 staff and thousands of volunteers. They've treated victims of war in Bosnia, hunger in Uganda, and earthquakes in Haiti. It's all a far cry from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Nancy first felt that wanderlust. By 1984, she was in California with a sales job at AT&T and an urge to volunteer. She interviewed with Dr. Bob Simon, who had just founded the International Medical Corps to treat victims of the Soviet-Afghan War. Bob needed a CEO. Nancy just wanted to volunteer. So?
It was not an intellectual decision for me at all. After I met Bob, and I learned about the organization, and I met the volunteers in the organization, I know it sounds crazy, but I just knew that's what I wanted to do with my life.
With Nancy's can-do leadership, the International Medical Corps soon had audits and security systems and grant writers, and the credibility to attract donors. Bob Simon says Nancy showed another talent, recruiting people with hearts as big as hers.
They so believe in what we do that it's almost as though it's a child of theirs. And that's what Nancy's been able to put together. That's her #1 achievement.
Soon, Nancy and the Corps showed the world a different model for global relief. No one thought you could treat victims in war and at the same time train local caregivers.
Who said you have to do one or the other and that you can only do them in certain environments? Well, that's what people were saying in the 80s, and we said, that's nonsense.
The Corps' model succeeded in Afghanistan, and so Nancy set a risky new goal, Angola. She was led in blindfolded to get buy-in from rebel leaders, and the Corps eventually vaccinated 160,000 Angola children. Now the Corps went global. In 25 years, the International Medical Corps has provided $1 billion in assistance in 50 countries. And more importantly, 97% of its caregivers are locals trained to carry on.
Nancy deserves to be celebrated. She is truly a hero in what she does and in what she's helped build.
After decades in conflict zones, Nancy and the Corps are sought-after experts and something more. One colleague, Dr. Larry Brilliant, runs the Skoll Global Threats Fund and puts it this way.
We don't want the only face that the rest of the world sees in America to be our military. We want the rest of the world to see the face of Nancy, of the International Medical Corps. It is our best values. That's who we are.
But Nancy will tell you the real inspirations are her team and survivors like the Afghan Dr. Shamel.
That's actually Dr. Shamel. And
under the Taliban, Dr. Shamel lost her family, her medical practice. Nancy and the Corps found her huddled in a refugee camp. They recruited her, and this once shattered woman later told Nancy,
and I was totally demoralized, no help, no hope, no control over my life, and now I'm a master trainer again, and I'm helping my Afghan sisters. So my life is worth living again.
That's what Nancy does. She cares for the least and the most vulnerable amongst us. She's congruent with the aspirations of UCSF, the higher angels of UCSF.
She's just doing what her mother and father taught her long ago. Reach out to those who have no friends. She left a promising career to help people we think have nothing. Nancy discovered they have something priceless to give.
So many times I've seen people in the most horrific and what you would consider hopeless situations. But because they have hope, they inspire others to have hope.